me sense ma munyina akwa by the back Ghanatube I want to say Ghanatube information in land ya na say jede bibia bra mo say mo so munya ahwe na muntie na mu hu ade e koso e Ghana so therefore we breaking news efi NPP fo akachi am so beji ni nyina bra e Ghanatube then e koso e NPP fo akachi yes sisi amena okasa NPP fo o ma clear nipa ba ko 5 for their presidential primaries or therefore nipa ba ko 5 na NPP fo clear omo a sisi amena okasa no o ma qualify say o be stand for presidential primaries nyame adoma 2026 year e be ya January year therefore when e breaking news efi NPP party ni mo am so beji ni nyina bra e Ghana therefore enkofo 5 na NPP fo clear omo no therefore Mr. say obenya abotre na wedi mechi no kwakohwe sa enkofo 5 year NPP fo clear omo a o ma qualify for presidential primaries no therefore aha Ghanatube dimechi ni akwaje sanse mu nyina nchi mu Ghanatube na mrajisia.
He is expected to publish the list of qualified presidential aspirants today. This comes after the party's National Council met in Accra on Tuesday to consider the report of the Presidential Vetting Committee chaired by former Defense Minister Dr. Kwame Adokufo. The committee vetted 5 aspirants: Kwabena J. Ejapong, Kennedy Ohene Japong, Brian Echampong, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, and Dr. Yao Osei Educhum to determine the eligibility to contest in the party's presidential primary. Now, our sources say there was no disqualification as all aspirants have been invited to take part in the balloting for positions on the paper this Friday. Now, per the party's timetable, the notice of poll will be published next Friday. The NPP's National Congress to elect its 2028 presidential candidate is scheduled for January 31st next year, with a possible runoff on February 14th. Oh, so there you have it. In the third, we should have a quick conversation on the back of this. The NPP is expected to publish the list of qualified presidential aspirants today. Now, I've been telling you that these aspirants include Brian Echampong, Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, Dr. Educhum, the former education minister. We also know that it includes Kennedy Ohene Ejapong, and our sources say there was no disqualification as all aspirants have been invited to take part in the balloting for positions, which will be this Friday. We also know that the party will publish its timetable, the notice of poll, next Friday. Now, the NPP's National Congress, as you very well know, for the 2028 presidential election is scheduled for January 31st, 2026. It will also be the first time that the NPP is electing a presidential candidate ahead of its new party elections or party executives. So let's move on. Come back. Well, now let's show you a bit more from that. We've got this letter here. As you can see, it's bears the NPP's logo here, and it's on the NPP's letterhead as well, which tells you that invitation to participate in balloting for the upcoming January 31st presidential primary. If you've been with us from the beginning, I've told you that this will take place on Friday, only 2 days from now, October 10, 2025 at 11 a.m. at the NPP's headquarters in Asylum Down. We kindly request your confirmation of receipt of this invitation should you have any questions or require further information. So this is a letter the NPP sent out to all the 5 aspirants at this point. We have Engineer Kwabena Eje Japon, Honorable Ken Ohene Ejapon, Honorable Dr. Brian Echampong, His Excellency former Vice President Dr. Mamadou Bawumia, and Honorable Dr. Yao Osei Educhum. Now, all these 5 filed, and all of them have been invited to this event on Friday. Which means that there is no disqualification as far as is concerned. And William Yamwa is the Secretary of the Presidential Elections Committee.
Out of when breaking news, if NPP party members beginning in our bro, our Ghana to see and you see. So far, no, the sound of 5 way and a qualify or more to see NPP for presidential prime minister because in America 2026 January no as Uncle Fu and see and ya for more or mobile best standing as presidential aspirants and for the prime minister in America next year 2026 or the form. Way in a breaking news if NPP for Kachia Abeto Drameso just NPP for the shocking letter 10 pound. Sank of 5 we are clear on one as my qualifying or more the letter 10 about one thing at the address sank of 5 we say Omunchen ye na chese nyame adoma 2026 no ombetumi gina ye na chese obi obewini no na chese nyame adoma 2028 no obetumi akwa stande eye NDC fo no for eye flag bearership position do fo we ene ensema ebobo ba NPP akachi ameso begini nyina bro Ghanatube do fo manko na ensantu ansem no so mra isi Ghanatube so
committee who authored this letter to these aspirants. Now, just a quick one on the presidential aspirants. Kwabena Eje Japon, you may know him very well. He is a former General Secretary of the NPP. He was one of 3 people suspended in 2014 into 2015. He had been suspended from the party, but he's had a very long history with the party. Now that suspension, obviously, when it ended, he had written back to the party to ask that, he be restored as, former General Secretary of the party, which now allows him to be in that position, right? So then he's also served as press secretary. He served as press secretary for the party, presidential spokesperson to President John Ejokunko for 2001 to 2006. Let's also talk about Kennedy Ohene Ejapon. We already know he's a member of parliament for Asin Central, former member of parliament for Asin Central. Dr. Brian Echampong, former minister for food and agriculture, appointed in February of 2023, also member of parliament for Abetifi. The former Vice President, Dr. Mamadou Bawumia, and then the former Education Minister, Dr. Yao Osei Educhum. So all 5 of them will be at the event on this Friday where the balloting is expected to take place. Oh, now those are the names that I expected at the bulletin event on Friday.
No surprises. I'll be very, very honest. No surprises there, because all of these individuals, in one way or the other, have distinguished themselves. Some of them have been in the race 2 years ago, 2023, when the party held its presidential primary, talk of Kennedy Japan, who was
Right.
then a member of parliament. Dr. Sedu Chumu was not in that race. Brian Champon was not as well, but this man was in the race when they went to the superdelegates conference, which trimmed down the numbers from 10 to 5. Did not make the final list of the 5, which went on into that race subsequently, amongst many other things. And so no surprises in terms of the fact that nobody was disqualified by the vetting committee, which is being overseen by the elections committee. Because if anybody was disqualified already, we know that the conversations have not been particularly friendly in terms of the conversations that have gone on amidst all of this campaign, and so it would have just increased acrimony and animosity, and so that also is understandable as to why we're seeing things go the way it's going.
Absolutely. And one of the things that we would expect, given the last presidential primary, the comments that had come out of that will be a lot of transparency for the process that is starting or is ongoing and will continue on Friday. Let's take that conversation now to Dr. Kwesi Amache-Boateng, a political science lecturer at the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology. Doc, I appreciate your time with us this afternoon, but we were just talking about the process. There's no disqualification. All 5 aspirants are moving on to the next stage to ballot for a space or a slot on the voting paper. But in terms of learning lessons of the past, what are your expectations of the process?
Thank you for the opportunity, and let me say good afternoon to your viewers. Actually, elections have got to be such that the parties taking part in it should have confidence in the procedures and processes such that.
Order for when a breaking news abeto bia efi NPP for akachi ameso meji ni nyina brɛ e wo Ghana tiro fo we ene nsema e kosisi an yesi NPP for oma clear nipa baako 5 for omo presidential primaries no nyame adoma January 2026 no do for enyame na me kan omo de letter tintin na ba bontin e dia clear sa nipa 5 we inti si anu enche mo amonim se bronya ne ba bronya ne nyanwie ye na chese January 2026 na chese primaries no ehhehye so ti si aso 5 no nipa 5 ena si anu ya qualify omo a yesi so far no disqualification bia na akoso ewo eye NPP for omakachi nti si anu 5 ena si ya clear omo a presidential primaries no oma qualifier na me aduma January 2026 no omekwa stande as a flag bearership position no e de ama NPP akacho do for we na breaking news abeto dwa me so be di nyina brew e wo Ghanatube do for we ena me sure se Ghana fo bebre na ehwehwe enim so mbeti enti no letter no aba beto dwa NPP fo akachi ana masa ne sa letter nyina beto dwa me so be di nyina brew e wo Ghanatube do for mbre fi se mobile like no ma subscribe no ma share no ma hit notification bell no so ma se ne be ya abri bia do pe content say ya wo una me no kasa no nya ntempa no ahwe nche modofo aha ana me the NPP story nyina be si wo Ghanatube so makra mu nyina meda mu nyina si bebre